What's going on, everybody? I don't know what to do with my hands. GemMint here. Welcome back to the channel. We are reviewing from XM Studios their 1/4 scale Apocalypse. Now, even though this has already shipped, production pieces are out in the wild, you may have seen a review months ago. XM Studios was still kind enough to send us the prototype so that we can see it in hand, review it, and share it with you all. Now, just a heads up, there may be some differences in the production piece versus the prototype, especially how things key in. For example, Apocalypse is 2 pieces here, whereas the production piece is just 1 solid piece. But we're gonna do close-ups, we're gonna look at the details, we're gonna do an assembly, again, even though it might differ a little bit, and then we're gonna do a review on this guy. So appreciate y'all clicking that thumbnail. Let's jump into it. All right, guys, let's take a look at some of these pieces up close. So we're gonna start with the wires that will connect his arms to his back. These are very heavy, but they're still pliable. I mean, you can still move them. Very nice texture and detail to them. There's 2 wires, we'll see those later. Then we have a bunch of these sentinel type of tentacles. I love that futuristic alien type of technology that Apocalypse uses, mixed with the ancient Egyptian vibe. So many tentacles we'll be seeing now, because we have some that key into the base. Then we have 3 that connect to one of his arm switch outs, as we're seeing here. Love the blue metallic shine, you have the dull silver shine, and you have those inner workings, the brass wiring underneath. A lot of detail put into these tentacles, and they really help contrast the brownish rock base. Here we have a really long tentacle. So this is a base tentacle that you can see, it just keeps on going and going, and it's gonna kind of go behind Apocalypse, swinging around by the side of the base. So very cool. Here's another base tentacle that doesn't have an arm. It's gonna just kind of go under his foot. We'll see that during the assembly, but a lot of those inner workings are visible there. Another base element, but this time it's more rock with the hieroglyphics. That nice teal oxidization look looks great, and this has some weight to it, man. Plus, it's got those biomechanical elements along the rim of that portal or whatever that thing is. Here's another piece of that connects it, which makes it look like some type of fallen archway or something. You can see those wires sticking out the back. You can actually move those slightly as well. Great paint job on the rock. Looks realistic, looks great. And speaking of the base, let's just give you a quick look. The hieroglyphics once again, the built-in sentinel tendrils. This is gonna look awesome once we get all those arms keyed in here. Here goes Apocalypse. Now, the prototype had the legs separated from the torso, which is good, so I can get up close and personal. Look at the definition on the costume. You have like that fabric fold sculpted in, some nice texture on the front black part here, and the details on the boot. It's insane. I mean, how intricate the sculpt is, and the different hues of blue looks awesome. Looks weathered, looks old. Here are the knee pads or the kneecaps. I'm not sure if these are supposed to be in for production or what have you. Here goes his belt with the trademark A on the front, but a more modernized look compared to like the animated series or the comics. Nice battle damage, weathering. And then the top part of the torso, again, the intricacies in the design. You have matte, flat fabric with folds by the muscle details here, textured look, armored look, biomechanical look on this huge back. Then we have one of the arm switch outs that will connect a weapon to the end of it. Again, you see those inner workings, all the different textures and design elements within this one small piece of arm. Here are 2 hand switch outs, so that type of connector arm, if you will connect the elbow to the wrist, allowing you to use these options. A lot of detail packed into those gloves. You can see the padding and then going up to the armored look of the knuckles. Another arm switch out, this is the claw. For his left hand. The sculpt is amazing. How they came up with this design, I'll never know. But biomechanical weaponry that he's able to manifest. Along with this, which is like a pulse rifle / chainsaw. It's like something out of Doom, and it's awesome, man. This is a right arm switch out, which is just packed full of detail. It almost looks like a car engine right here, right? But crazy futuristic weaponry, and there is more. So here is a left arm switch out, his big cannon. Look at these big ammunition packs on the side here. You can see the barrel. The color scheme looks great. It looks realistic, even though it's a futuristic weapon we've never seen. All right, we got two portraits. Here is the big frown portrait. Looks great. I love the skin tones, that grayish skin. You can see the shadowing. You can see the sculpt conveying emotion. I love the red eyes. I love how the Apocalypse lips go into the helmet with that blue metallic paint. And then we have a secondary portrait with the gritted teeth, which I prefer because it just shows XM Studios quality. Those teeth look super real, and it just gives you more of a pop with this portrait. So two portrait options, very similar. However, they do look in different directions, and we'll see that during assembly. And you can kind of see that right now as well, but this is how they look side by side. All right, let's get this thing put together. So we're gonna start with the tendril that doesn't have an arm onto the base here. Swing it around, we'll get one of the tendrils in the middle because it's hard to do with Apocalypse in the way. And then we're gonna connect those two big pieces and key them in here. I had a little bit of a hard time getting it keyed in, but I got it. And then we'll put that big tentacle that'll wrap around the back like I mentioned. We'll get Apocalypse keyed in, or at least the feet. All right, and I'll get those knee pads on. At least for the prototype, they were separate. All right, we'll get the belt on, and then we'll put on the top torso so that we can start playing with all these switch outs. All right, for the right arm, we have the connecting arm connected to his just regular hand. So that's just gonna be hanging down by his side. Again, love the detail in the sculpt on that hand. Looks amazing. But we can switch out that right hand, keep the connecting part there, and put this crazy tentacle, sentinel, Matrix style switch out, which is awesome. Tentacles everywhere with that one. And then we're gonna take off that whole entire arm and we're gonna put that big chainsaw switch out there. Crazy switch out here as well, man. I don't know which one I want to use. All right, time for some portraits. We're gonna be angled down a little bit so you can get a better look at Apocalypse. This portrait with that more of a frown look, looking down on his enemies, if you will. He's a tall, imposing character. When we do the switch out, this one will make him look a little bit more upwards and to his left at the weapon that he's creating in his hand. So that's a pretty cool look too, and it gives you different display options, whether you want to have him low or high. All right, onto the left arm, we have that connector piece with the fist, but we can remove just the fist and then put the claw, which looks amazing. A lot of detail in that claw. I love the brass next to that silver metallic look. Great contrast. And then we can remove this one and put his big pulse rifle cannon, or whatever you want to call that. The detail is incredible. And we're almost done with the assembly, guys. Let's go ahead and get those metal wires and start connecting them from his back to his arm. So those have strong magnets here. And then we have the right arm, which will complete the assembly. Before we continue, I want to thank That Spider-Man Booth for sponsoring this video. Make sure you're following them over on Whatnot for daily live comic book auctions. You could win CGC key issues and get some great exclusive variants from their sister site, Street Level Hero. If you haven't, you can download Whatnot in the link in the description. It'll actually give you a $10 credit that you can use towards your first purchase. All right, guys, first things first. So Apocalypse retailed 2,099 Singapore dollars, which is about $1,500 USD. It is only licensed for the regions that we have on screen here, and we'll grab some dimensions. I think this switch out is its tallest point, so let's see how tall this guy is. So at his highest, 32 inches tall. And man, the diameter of the base is pretty big as well. It's about 15 inches, yeah, about that. But you know, obviously he has pieces sticking outward. If you look at front to back, the max depth is about 25 inches. The max width is about somewhere around 23, 24 inches. But man, what an impressive piece. Right away, he's got the presence that Apocalypse needs, and he has that modernized look that we needed in the statue world. We don't have many quarter scale Apocalypse statues, and I gotta tell you, this is the one to beat for right now. The details are crazy impressive. First of all, the base itself is super dynamic. I mean, look at everything going on here. Like I said, that archway, that portal, whatever it is, we're dealing with alien technology. Looks awesome, but again, futuristic alien technology with old Earth, Egyptian hieroglyphics, pyramids, things of that nature. It blends so well together and really lets you know what Apocalypse is all about. The first mutant from back in the dawn of man, if you will. Moving up to Apocalypse, as you guys saw up close, I really understand why this was a little bit more expensive than we thought when it was first announced. Look at the detail in every piece of armor. I hate to overuse a word, but the intricacies are insane. Then you have the weaponry. The amount of switch outs on this is amazing. I like the big guns look, right? So he's got the big rifle slash chainsaw sword thing in his right arm. The left hand is this big rocket cannon. But the other switch out, that sentinel looking tentacle arm, is crazy awesome. So is the claw on the left hand. And then if you want to keep it modest, keep it simple, maybe you don't have the display space, you could just use the regular hand switch outs to kind of shorten the width and the height a little bit here. The portraits are awesome. I mean, this is the prototype. This is the paint job that everybody loved. I know that in certain lights or maybe even certain production pieces, maybe it had a purple highlight. That I can't really speak on because the prototype does not have it. But man, crazy impressed here. Even the wires that go from the back to the arms and how they kind of are braided and tangled around each other, one a little bit thicker than the other. That leather-like part, the light gray on the costume, plus you have the black texture look here. They really spent a lot of hours sculpting this guy, and I think it really shows. Happy to share the prototype with you guys. What do you think about Apocalypse? Let me know in the comments down below. I know there was concerns about the pose, the purple that I mentioned earlier, but after watching this video, after seeing others, maybe you own it. Let me know in the comments. Appreciate you watching. I'll leave you with him spinning 360 degrees with all the different switch outs. Y'all stay minty fresh. Peace.